Welcome to Indigenous Voices, a podcast dedicated to amplifying contemporary Indigenous issues across Canada. Today, we're exploring a crisis that continues to affect First Nations communities across the country: long-term boil water advisories. For most Canadians, turning on a tap to drink water is simple, immediate, and safe. But for dozens of First Nations communities, this basic human right is not guaranteed. Some communities have lived under advisories for decades, more than 20 years in some cases. Imagine growing up never knowing whether your water is safe. Imagine sending your children to school knowing they may not have safe drinking water at home. Communities like Neskantaga First Nation in Ontario, Shoal Lake 40 in Manitoba, and many communities across British Columbia still rely on water that must be boiled before use. Families spend hours each week boiling water. Children carry heavy water jugs to school, and healthcare centers face the constant risk of unsafe water disrupting care. In some remote communities, bottled water is flown in, making it expensive and unreliable. This crisis is not a result of geography or scarcity. Canada has one of the largest freshwater reserves in the world. Instead, the problem comes from systemic failures: underfunded infrastructure, aging water treatment systems, and repeated delays in government response. Water systems often break down, leaving communities with no water for days or even weeks. When funding is promised to repair or replace systems, the process is slow and complicated, often trapped in bureaucratic red tape. These failures are rooted in historical and ongoing colonial policies. Treaties signed with First Nations promised care, support, and protection. Yet these promises have not been met. Access to clean water should not depend on who you are or where you live. But in Canada today, it does. Community members and leaders have repeatedly raised their voices. They document the challenges, advocate for solutions, and demand accountability. Their advocacy reminds us that this is not just an infrastructure issue. It is about dignity, justice, and human rights. This episode highlights the urgency. The clean water crisis is ongoing, affecting real lives today. Communities continue to wait while promises linger unfulfilled. It is a national issue, and as Canadians, we share responsibility. In the next episode, we will center Indigenous voices to understand the cultural and spiritual significance of water, and why Indigenous perspectives are essential to meaningful solutions.